He was a respected professor. She was just his student. But one conversation turned into late nights, and one mistake turned into a nightmare. Now he's losing his job, his wife, and his entire life, all because he couldn't say no. The story begins with Professor Ted Swenson going to college. He has written a book that has made him somewhat famous, and right now he teaches creative writing at Houston College in Vermont. He believes he will leave the university after his second book is published. However, things haven't turned out as he thought, and he has been at the college for 10 years, and now he is a permanent professor. In the next part, Ted is overseeing a conversation. Many people are sharing their thoughts about the book, but their opinions don't seem very smart or reasonable. Then a girl named Angela steps up and shares her view on the book. She seems to enjoy the book and has some good ideas. Ted is really impressed by how Angela talks about her novel and her opinions. When class is over, Angela gives Ted the first chapter of her book and asks him to read it and share his thoughts on her writing. After college, Ted goes to a hospital to visit his wife, Sherry, who works as a nurse. After that, Ted and his wife go to a meeting at the college. The meeting is run by Principal Bentham. He talks to the group about the new rules for teachers about not bothering their students. The next day, Angela visits Ted at his office. They talk about books. This is when she spots the book written by Ted. She says this book is her favorite. It helped her feel better after her dad died. She continues to say nice things about Ted. She talks about how inspired she feels by him and how well he writes. She really admires him and can't stop praising him. She asks him to look over the first chapter of the book she is writing. The book is called Eggs. In the next part, Ted is in the library working on his own story, but his phone keeps ringing over and over. His editor is calling, but he keeps not answering. He gets fed up with everything and stops working. Then, he picks up the chapter that Angela asked him to read and starts reading it. He is very impressed by the writing and the story. He's so amazed that he can't stop thinking about it. Even when he gets home, he keeps thinking about Angela and her book. Even when he's with his wife, Ted can't stop thinking about Angela. He reads the story again and seems really interested in it. The next day, he meets Angela and shares his thoughts about the book with her. He tells her that she is figuring something out. He says that she did a really good job. They are still talking when another teacher named Nagda comes over. She doesn't look very happy to see them having such a nice talk. She doesn't join in the talk and just says hello before leaving. Right after she goes, Angela gives Ted another chapter to read. Ted reads that chapter while sitting in a restaurant and having a drink. He is still reading the chapter when Magda comes back. They have lunch together. They talk about Angela, and Magda is pleased to learn that Angela is now doing meaningful work by writing strong content. If we use easy words, the content should be clear and not have any adult themes. She tells Ted that she read Angela's poems when she took her class. She says the poems were very rude. She also mentioned that Angela really wanted to give it as a donation to the college library. Even though the librarian didn't like it and thought the poetry about a phone sex worker was inappropriate, they chose to keep it to show goodwill. After lunch, Ted goes to the library and borrows a poetry book. The book mainly includes romantic talks between a phone sex worker named Angela 911 and her customers. Right now, he can't read it because he needs to go to a party, so he left with the book in his hand. When he arrives with his wife, all the college teachers keep asking him about his book, which makes him irritated. But his wife is nice and helps keep him happy. Ted lies and says his work is almost done, but when someone asks him about the theme of his book, he accidentally talks about Angela's book instead. His wife is a bit confused when she hears this because she has already read Ted's writing. At the dinner table, all the teachers are discussing how to stop the bullying. They all talk about the new rules on sexual harassment at school and how being careful with words is changing the way they teach. They say they want to teach their students in a safe and secure place. However, Ted speaks out boldly about his views, which makes everyone feel a bit uneasy. After dinner, when Ted and his wife go home, she playfully jokes with him about how he didn't think before speaking, but she also appreciates his confidence. When he gets home, he starts reading the book by Angela that he borrowed from the library. He feels so moved by the book that he starts imagining the characters and their story in his mind. He pictures a girl waiting for a man in the dark at night, someone who could help her. While Ted is thinking about everything and reading a book, his wife calls him to come to bed. Then he closed his book, turned off the light, and went to his wife. The next day, Ted goes to college, but he can't concentrate on anything. All he can think about is Angela 9/11. He can't concentrate on what his students are saying today. After class, Angela comes to talk to him again. Ted tells Angela that her writing is good and encourages her to write more. She, in return, gives him more and more sexual chapters of her book. That day, as usual, he went home with the chaperone she had given him. While Ted is reading the book, he suddenly stops because he figures out who the story is really about. He calls Angela and asks to meet her tomorrow. This is when Ted's wife walks in and asks him who he is talking to. Ted tells a lie and claims he was talking to Magda. The next day, Angela's mom and stepdad visit the college and see Ted. They ask how Angela is doing and how she is improving. Ted talks nicely about Angela to her parents, and they look happy with her. After her parents go, Ted meets with Angela. He told her that her family had arrived and asked her if she had known in advance that they would be coming. She said that they had come suddenly and that she had not known that they were coming. She shares everything about her family and how her real father died. Ted comforts her, saying that even though life has been tough for her, she has many good things to look forward to soon. That night, while reading Angela's book, he begins to picture himself and Angela as characters in the story. While reading her book about a teenage girl who has a crush on her science teacher, he begins to picture himself as that teacher. While Ted is thinking about all these romantic scenes with Angela, he catches himself before he gets carried away. He then tries to call her, but a guy picks up the phone. When Ted hears a man's voice, he hangs up without saying anything. The next day, Angela sees Ted and says sorry to him. She thinks that her book might have made him feel awkward. Ted tells her to relax because this is usual for a literature teacher. Then, Angela says her computer is broken, so she couldn't finish the next chapter. Ted feels a bit annoyed when he finds out he can't read the next chapter. He decides to buy Angela a new computer on his way to the market. As they walk to the market, they learn a lot about each other. They pick up the computer, and Ted takes Angela home. Once they arrive, Angela asks him to come inside and help her set up the new computer. As Angela is setting up the computer and bending over, Ted can't take his eyes off her behind. He tries to calm down by looking at different things in the room. Angela is still unable to copy the new chapter because of a problem with the computer, and she begins to feel frustrated. Ted tries to soothe her, and that includes some gentle touching between them. Angela starts flirting with him. They started a relationship, but before they can finish, Ted's loose tooth falls out. They laugh and agree to wait for another time to continue. But Ted asks her to keep what happened in this room a secret between them. Angela says it's okay, but Ted still feels bad about everything, because he is married. As he's leaving, he bumps into another student who wonders why Ted was in Angela's room. When Ted gets home, he can't stop thinking about Angela's book and keeps imagining romantic scenes with her. He starts to feel very uneasy and can't figure out how to handle everything that's happening. The next day in class, Angela points out a mistake in another student's work. The girl gets upset and tells Ted that Angela always criticizes other people's work, but she never shows her own work to anyone. When class is over, Angela goes to Ted and says sorry for how she acted during class. She tells him that she's been sad because Ted didn't give her any thoughts on the last chapter. She asked him to read. Ted then tries to make her feel better and says he's sorry. Angela asks Ted to share her book with his publisher. Ted says he will consider it. In the next part, Angela bravely shares her story with the class, but it doesn't go well. Everyone jokes about it and speaks badly of it. This event greatly affects Angela's confidence. Ted stands up for Angela's book and tells everyone they should be embarrassed for how they behaved. He even says that Angela's book is the best of all. He gets really upset and finishes the class feeling angry. Right after he walks out of the classroom, he calls his publisher and asks to arrange a meeting after Thanksgiving. During the holidays, Ted's daughter visits them. They are all discussing her schoolwork when Ruby shifts the conversation to the family's history of mental health issues. Ted's dad died by suicide because of a mental disorder. Ted gets mad, and his wife talks about something else. After his vacation, Ted goes to New York to see his publisher, who has been eagerly waiting for Ted's work. However, Ted surprises him by giving him Angela's novel instead of his own. The publisher realizes that something personal has happened between Ted and Angela, which is why Ted wants to help her. Ted says it's not true and walks away. When he gets home at night, his wife is still awake waiting for him. She tells him that a student called and was talking about Ted. The next day, when Ted arrives at college, Angela goes up to him and asks about the book. He tells her that her book is with the publisher, but then he tells her the truth. He says the publisher isn't interested in her book at all. He then tries to help her see that she is still a little girl and that she will have many chances to get her book published later. These things really annoy Angela, and she shows her real feelings. Ted tries to explain what's happening to her, but she gets really angry. She begins yelling that the only reason she slept with him was to get a good agent because of him. Ted is surprised by this. He says he didn't believe their relationship was about business, and Angela leaves angrily. Ted feels very hurt when he sees Angela leave angrily. While Ted was on his way home, he received a call from the school principal asking him to come to the office urgently, and the woman recorded their conversation from the day before as evidence. He then admits to his wife that he was unfaithful. Everyone, even his wife, blames him. After his students and some teachers speak out against him, he loses his job, his marriage, and his good name. Angela receives a call from Ted's agent, who is interested in her work because of the recent controversy. 15 months later, Ted is at a cafe writing his memoirs. When he notices a woman at his table reading the Eggs novel, he asks her if she likes the book. Throughout the story, we kept feeling that Angela was really fixated on Ted. No, she wasn't really obsessed with Ted. She was more focused on getting her book published. That focus drove her to do some very dishonest things. Basically, what she did was really cheap. She even sacrificed herself to achieve her goal by sleeping with him. In trying to get what she wanted, she ruined everything for her teacher. His job, his reputation, and most importantly, his family. Obsession can turn you into someone you might end up hating. The movie ends here. Please, my family, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.